Still, is this your first trip here?
It is.
Glad you could make it.
I'll be back Saturday if you don't mind.
You always come when your friends are playing here.
If they hung and I
Doesn't ignore him.
Like you said,
Right?
Big
He always comes when his friends are
Big
here.
Al and him are real
Barber's
close.
been here. Barber's been to 2 games, and Till's been to
2 games. Who's keeping your stats this year?
1. I got you.
Buzz, you had not been happy with your turnovers or your defense in recent games. What enabled you to do better in those areas tonight?
Obviously, we've been focused on it. I thought we were much more connected. Obviously, we executed the scheme of what we wanted to do, and that's why we won. Obviously, I think that we're a good offensive team. There are ways that we can be better, but when our turnover rate is low, good things are going to happen. But I thought defensively we were much, much better. Didn't give up near as many points in transition. Didn't get into rotation. Maybe the least amount we've been in rotation in a BCS game this year. Much, much better.
When people talk about attacking that zone, they talk about penetrating into the teeth of it or shooting over the top. Why was Zach so open on the low block?
Yeah, I think that Barbara, that was our 4th time here, and I think that was our 14th time playing them. So without making it sound like I'm smart, those 2 forwards are going to start as high as they can, and the top 2 guards are going to start as high as they can. So if you really look at it, it's 4 and 1. And the higher those forwards come up, the higher the center is going to come up. And I think if you can get it to the middle of the zone, or occasionally you can throw it over the top of the zone, that guy's got to be back there with his heels on the baseline, because now all of a sudden that's going to make that center drop, which is going to allow you to get it to the high post better. And anytime the ball goes to the high post, our action to that is going to force those forwards to drop. And when the ball goes to the high post, we practice, you're in a triangle, and the top of the triangle is the high post. And what are we going to do based on those 2 forwards and that center on how he's going to react to the ball?
Zach's not the tallest guy, though. Or
No.
how impressive were you with his finishing then?
So when we do when we're preparing to play against the zone, we do the triangle, maybe 14 reps, 18 reps, and then we add a 4th guy, and we play 4-on-4 from the zone, and then we add a 5th guy, and we play 4-on-5. We have 4, they have 5. And when we're doing all of that breakdown stuff, if the bottom guy, which was Dream or Zach, if they don't dunk it, it doesn't count. Because they're so big and they're so long, and it's not just the center that's coming to make a play on the ball. It's that forward that when it goes to the high post, they're taught to sponge to the blocks. And so it's both of those guys that you have to finish over. And we call that the alley, back behind all of that. When you're in the alley, it has to be a dunk, because if you lay it up, they're going to block it.
How paramount,
Some of those fouls were good too from that spot.
how paramount is it for us to have an effective passer like Chris at the line?
That's the whole thing. He's our best passer, the man or zone, half court, full court, press offense. He's our best passer, and the poise that he plays with, because he's so skilled and because he's so long, when he gives a pass fake, it's a believable one. It's not the 5th grade, look, I'm about to pass. I mean, it's like, here it comes. And I thought when Chris was out till in the second half, I thought Seth was really effective in there too. I don't think, maybe it's not just because it's zone. I don't think you can just keep giving them the same look over and over. There's only so many things you can do against the zone. I think that's why Coach does it mathematically. Like, he's not worried about a ball screen. He's not worried about a play. Hey, there's 6 to 8 things you can do against the zone, and those are the things that they work on. But I don't think that you can give them the same look over and over.
You talked about the improvements on defense and kind of how you guys attack the zone. You guys seem to really value possessions more in this game with the 20 assists and season low 6 turnovers and all that. Did they kind of force you to do that with that, Zach?
Well, the one thing, Norm, that I said on the radio, it just mathematically, it's going to be a shorter game because they're going to be in zone of make or miss. And so, not that the value decreases regardless of how many possessions there are, but there's going to be less. We're averaging, I think, 79 possessions, and today it was 70. And our turnover rate in the last 2 road games was 23%. Our OER was great, but we're 1 out of every 4 times we're giving them the ball. And too often at Florida State, I think we had 16 turnovers, 13 of them were live ball. So it's just a live ball turnover that turns into a transition basket. I don't remember the 1 turnover we had in the first half, but I remember 3 of the turnovers we had in the second half, and I think only 2 of those 5 in the second half, it may have been 3, were live ball. And you know, when you have a live ball turnover against the zone, they're scoring. And last year, year number one here, we played them twice, right? We got beat 68-66, and we lost at their place by 2 as well. They had more field goal makes off 1 pass or less than any team in the country when we played them the second time in year number 1. And it's because if it's a live ball turnover or you shoot a dumb shot, a long shot that's a dumb shot, that's a long rebound, it's 1 pass or no passes, and it's a dunk. So obviously when you talk about the offense, that's what we were focused on, was we need a shot every possession.
Coach, what did he talk to the team before Florida State about not letting losses build up on you in the ACC,
Yeah.
how tough it is? 1, what was his message? Why is that important? 2, what does it say about these guys that they did snap it?
Well, I just think it's incredibly hard to win a game in this league. And I think that'll bear it out. So 8 teams had 2 losses entering today, 4 teams had 1 loss. That's 12 teams. 2 teams had 0 losses, and 1 team had 3 losses, and that's because they played 4 games. And I think it's just going to stay clumped together because it's so hard to win a game. And I understand that my tone of voice and my mood is better after a win, which is kind of condescending in some ways, but it's just such a relief. And Zach doesn't come across as if he's really intelligent, but he's a really good kid, and he's smarter than you think. You just have to spend some time around him to realize, like, yeah, he knows what's going on, and he cares so much. Obviously, his first 2 years, he lost a lot and was considered a bad player. He worked incredibly hard in his sit-out year, and then we had an 8-game ACC improvement in his first year here, and he just cares about winning. And I thought at Florida State, the 6 guys that played, 6.5 guys that played, I thought they played their guts out. They're just really good, and we did not play good enough in that environment against that talent to have a chance to win. But some of the things that were said in the locker room by the team, just like I said in this locker room, if the coach is always having to say it, there's a level to how good you can be. And any coach would tell you this. If it's an exclusively coach-led team, there's a level to your success. But when it becomes a player-led team, because the players know what's right and what's wrong, that changes the level. And I thought some of that came to life over the last 2.5 days, and Zach would be a part of that for sure.
You guys have beaten Krzyzewski and Boeheim in your last 2 home games. That's not too shabby.
I didn't think about it like that. I don't, man, I think that was, if you take away all of those particular issues that coach has dealt with, I think he has 995 wins. He has 11 Sweet 16s. He has 4 Final Fours, 1 national championship, and I can't remember how many Elite Eights. Obviously, he has 3 gold medals. Man, there won't be another one like Coach, and I don't know that there'll be another one like Coach Krzyzewski either. And I look at those guys in in a completely different light relative to what they've accomplished and how they've went about it and what they've meant to the game. And I thought if you got inducted into the Hall of Fame, that meant you retired. And those guys obviously don't believe that.
Seth had 5 assists.
I thought he played, Jimmy, with the same poise that he played against with Duke. Nobody played with any level of poise in Raleigh. And then obviously he didn't travel with us to Tallahassee. 5 was in foul trouble in essence all game long. And so now Seth is the ball guard. I don't know how many of those 31 minutes he played with 5, but that might have been 3. And I thought he played with great poise. And then when Chris was out and 5 was out and Seth is playing in the middle of the zone, that's a lot of different stuff going on. And I told he and Zach, I thought tonight they both played like redshirt seniors, and that's what we need from them.
Next question over here,
How
Coach.
important was holding Tyler Ladin to only 2 points?
Really important. A lot of what we were trying to do in our prep relative to ball screen coverage was based on 20. How are you going to keep 21 off the glass? How can you affect number 3's shots? 4 was playing, what was 4 averaging over the 2 home games? 14 and 11, I think. So here's the mid ball screen with 20, and it's 4 that's using it. How are you going to play that? And when I watched Miami and when I watched Pitt, watched a lot of tape over the last 2 days with the staff, and like our ball screen coverages are colors. And because of 20, for the first time in my career, we created a new color yesterday morning. And all of our colors only have 1 syllable, and that color had 2 syllables because 20 and 4 were playing at such a feverish pitch. And I thought that was, so 4 was 2 of 9 and 20, so they were 3 of 14. They were averaging 21 assists in their wins and 10.5 assists in their losses because they put you in rotation, and that rotation 90% of the time is based on ball screen coverage, and that's 20 and 4 in my opinion.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.